Shalom, sister. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory praises to the Most High. Yahweh Bashim, Hashem like Yahushai. Um, so it's a beautiful Sabbath day. It's almost over, but not quite. So we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim for this beautiful Sabbath day, this day of rest, that we made it through another week. And we have this beautiful day to just rest and relax and rejoice and just praise the Most High and just a day just away from everything else. So before we start off, and as y'all see the title of this video, we're going to be getting into maintaining good works in this truth and what are you bringing to the table? What fruits do you bear? And hold on, before I start talking, let me get this. Yes, I can see. I know y'all was seeing with glasses on, I can see. This is 1 Peter 4:11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahweh. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which Yahweh giveth, that Yahweh in all things may be glorified through Yahweh Shah Mashiach, to whom be praised and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So we want to speak the oracles of the Most High Yahweh Shemashah. We want to speak those things that are well pleasing to the Most High. We want to just be talking out of our own belly, and we want to speak the saith the Lord. Let the word of the Most High be true, and every man a what? Liar. So this is Hebrews 10:24, and I just told you what I want to get. Let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. So ultimately, I'm on here to provoke my system to good works, to provoke y'all to bear good fruits in this thing, to provoke y'all to do better in this truth, as well as to myself. Because what I say, hey, I got to be profitable to myself as well. So what I'm telling y'all, I got to apply to my life as well. But as you see the top of this video, maintaining good works in this truth. What are you bringing to the table? What fruits do you bear? This is honestly the spirit. How like you're meditating on something, you're thinking of something, and the Most High, He's just confirming it. So all throughout the week, I was just reading a lot of precepts on not all throughout the week, but like the precept of reaping what you sow and the thought process of reaping what you sow, it was just popping up. Like my brother sent me that Bible verse about reaping what you sow. My niece sent it to me, and then I read it myself in like three different. I read it in Proverbs and I read it in Galatians. And it's just something the Most High was just bringing to my attention. I was like, okay. So I was just meditating on it, and I was like, I just meditated on it. I had already planned to do a video on maintaining good works, and so earlier today during the Sabbath, I was watching this video on first fruits, and something they brought out was reaping. So I was like, oh my goodness, there we go. It all connects. My first fruits is tonight at sundown. So I just thought it was beautiful how it all connects. Like, reaping what you sow, first fruits being at sundown. It's just be beautiful, when the spirit is be moving. So yeah, so we're just gonna get right into it. You reap what you sow. So what you put out is what you get. The reward you receive from the Most High is kind of up to you with how that looks. So the first precept I want to get is Galatians 6 and 8. I'm going to share my screen so y'all can see everything I'm pulling up. Galatians 6 and 8. And I'm also going to get some examples of how to maintain good works, in the scriptures of our foremothers. And, also the spirit. This is Susanna. She just literally dropped a video on 7 wicked women in the Bible, part 1. So in a sense, she's touching on maintaining good works because those wicked women in the Bible, they were not maintaining good works. So we learn from them what not to do and how to maintain good works in this truth. So the spirit is just moving. When I say the spirit is moving, the spirit is moving, okay? The first thing I want to get is Galatians 6, and I'm going to start at verse 7. Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So the Most High is not mocked. Whatever you're putting out, that's what you're going to get in return. If you're sowing to the lust of this flesh and the cares of this world, then that's what you're going to reap. You're going to reap corruption. You're going to reap death and destruction. You're going to reap judgment. But if you're sowing to the Spirit, you're moving the fruits of the Spirit, you're doing things as well, pleasing unto the Most High, Yahweh Shemashai, you're going to reap life everlasting. You're going to reap things in this life. You're going to reap blessings. That's what you're going to reap. And don't be weary in well doing, because in due season, if you continue to sow in righteousness, if you continue to sow in things that are well pleasing to the Most High, you're going to reap if you don't faint. So you don't want to faint and start reaping into your flesh because you don't feel like your reward is coming yet. You have to wait on the Most High, Yahweh Shemashai. So I wanted to kick it off with that. And I'm just going to continue to get precepts that let me back off that. I'm just going to precept it up, precept upon precept. 2 Corinthians 9 and 6. But this I say, he would sow sparingly shall also reap sparingly, and he would sow bountifully shall also reap bountifully. So if you're sowing sparingly, you're sowing just a little bit, kind of giving this truth 50%, not giving it your all. You kind of want to be Israelite on Mondays and Wednesdays, but then the rest of the days of the week, you want to do what you want to do. You can't pick and choose. You have to give the Most High your all. Right? And he that which soweth bountifully shall also reap bountifully. So if you're giving the Most High your all, if you're giving this truth your all, if you're giving everything you do your all, that's what you're going to reap. I want to get Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord. Yahweh shall give thanks to Yahweh and the Father by him. Skip down, and whatsoever you do, do heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. Knowing that of the Lord, you shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Yahweh. So everything you do, you want to give it your all. You want to give it your all because you're doing it to Yahweh Shema Shah. We're not here to get a praise from man. We're not here to get a hand clap from man. We're here to get that stamp of approval from the Most High. We're here to get a reward from Yahweh Shema Shah. Because in that day, we don't want to hear, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you. We don't want to hear that. So what can we do to not hear that? By maintaining good works, by doing things as well pleasing to the Most High, by keeping his laws, such commandments, by bearing good fruits. That's how we strive to not hear that, right? So, I want to get Proverbs 11. And we're just going to go through a few different verses that pretty much say the same thing so y'all can really understand that, the Most High, he's serious about what type of works you're doing, and he sees it. This is Proverbs 11:18. The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. So if you're sowing righteousness, you're going to have a reward for sure, no doubt about it. So if you want to get that thing you've been praying on for 2 years, if you want to get the kingdom of heaven, the big harvest, if you want to, get whatever you're working hard for, whatever you're praying for, then you have to put in the work. You have to sow in righteousness so you can get that sure reward. And the greatest reward of all time, is the kingdom of heaven. And I'm going to skip down to verse 25 and through 27. The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered also himself. He that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. He that diligently seeketh good procureth favor, and procure just means to obtain something, to get something. But he that seeketh mischief, it shall come unto him. So if you're seeking mischief, then that's what's going to come unto you. If you're sowing in mischief, you're going to reap mischief. If you're watering everybody around you, then Most High is going to make sure you're watered. If you're looking out for those around you, if you're looking out for your spirit, if you're putting in that work, if what you're putting out is good, then that's what you're going to get back. So, that's what I wanted to start out with. And then I don't want to make it too long-winded, so I'll make this the last one for now. Revelation 22:12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So our reward is going to be according to our works. Your reward is going to be based off the work you put in for the Most High Yahweh Shema Shah. So now that we have touched on that portion, I want to, jump the bullet to this. So all in all, we run over a few precepts touching on reaping what you sow. So, it's kind of playing upon tables. Whatever you put out, that's what you're going to get in return. And, we can't fool the Most High. The Most High sees us behind closed doors. So there used to be this poster at my elementary school in Nashville that I used to go to, Nashville, Tennessee. We're kind of the outskirts of Nashville. But it used to say something like, do the right thing when nobody's looking. It used to be on the wall at a stairway. So every time you walk down the stairs, every time you go up, you see that poster, do the right thing when nobody's looking. Because that's what real character is, right? Because we can get on these videos and we can post on Instagrams and all of that. And we can have the fringes on and a hair wrap. And we can portray the man that we're righteous. Yeah, we can look good, but what are you doing when nobody's watching? What works are you really bringing to the table? Are you just portraying to have good works, when everybody eyes on you, when the camera's on, when the video's on, when you want to get on Instagram, make a selfie, are you portraying to have good works? Are you portraying to be a righteous woman just in front of men? Or are you having those righteous works even behind closed doors? Are you reading behind closed doors? Are you studying and praying and fasting behind closed doors? Are you doing things as well presented to Most High when you're out in public, when you're at work, when you're at school, when you're just at the store, wherever you at? Are you really representing this truth in Yahweh Shema Shah the way you should be? Are you truly moving in the right spirit? That's the whole point of this lesson. What are you bringing to the table? The sister Susanna, she has a video called "What Do You Bring to the Table Besides Out of Beauty," and a video named Proverbs 30, being a Proverbs 31 and acting like a Proverbs 31 are not two different things. Something roughly paraphrasing, but very beautiful video. Lord, go check that out, because what are you bringing to the table besides out of beauty? What type of fruits do you bring to the table? Are you really doing good works in this truth? Is it for show? Is it for men? And that lesson that I watched about first fruits was from Believers of the Way. Y'all, it was so beautiful. So Lord willing, y'all can go check that out. It was a very, very, very beautiful lesson called Like How About Shema Shah. Because this is James. I said James. Genesis 4:2. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit and of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. So here you got two brothers, both bring offerings to the Lord. But the Lord, he didn't want nothing to do with Cain's offering, but he had respect unto Abel's offering. He loved Abel's offering, but he didn't have no respect unto Cain's offering. And why might that be? Was Cain sincere? Was he doing it for the right reason? So what are you offering to the Most High? What are you bringing to the Most High? Are you moving in sincerity? Because the Most High knows. And that's why Yahushua said, "Depart from me, you workers of iniquity." Because Cain, he was doing the works, but the Lord ain't wanting nothing to do with that. He didn't have respect unto that. So a lot of us, we could be in this truth doing the works, but are you really in the right spirit? Is the Most High going to respect the works that you're doing? Is he going to respect how you're acting in this truth? Are you moving in the right spirit? Or are you playing competition with your sister? Are you having evil eyes towards your sister? Are you trying to be and compete with her? Are you envying her? Are you side eyeing your sisters? Are you mistreating sisters behind closed doors? Like, how are you moving? What are you doing? Because the Most High sees it. So we want the Most High to love our works, and we want the Most High to respect our works. We don't want the Most High to not respect our works, like He didn't respect Cain's offering. He didn't respect Cain's works, and we don't want to. We don't want to be on that side with the Most High. Things we do, we want to please the Most High, and the Most High has made what's well pleasing unto us, what's well pleasing unto Him, made known unto us. It's very clear what pleases Him. Baruch 4:4. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Yahweh are made known unto us. So the things that please the Most High, Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, it's made known unto us. It's not a secret. I mean, to some it is, but He's made it known unto us, so we know it pleased Him. So we should be moving in ways that please the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai. If you need some more ways on how to please, get in this Bible. Keeping the commandments is how. But then you got all these accounts in the Bible of our foremothers and our forefathers and what to do and not to do. All these examples. That's why Paul said it's for our learning, so that we can learn how to move, how to please the Most High, how to be blameless as possible. How to be spotless and undefiled and pure from this world. Right? So I want to go to Sirach 23:19. And it reads, "Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts." So the Most High eyes is brighter than anybody and anything. So you know how darkness don't hide sin. Let me just say that. You can be in the dark. That's not covering up your iniquity. The Most High see what you do in the dark and in the light, what you do behind closed doors. He sees it all, but most of all, He knows your heart. He sees your heart most of all. Let's get that. This is 1 Samuel 16:6. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on alive and said, "Surely the Lord's anointed is before him." But the Lord said unto Samuel, "Look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." So we, just being in this flesh, being humans, we look at somebody, be like, "Yeah, she seems like a nice person. She seemed cool. She looked nice. She looked like she doing the right thing. She looked like she must be, she might get the kingdom. But the Lord, He sees the heart. So we can portray to man to be righteous, to move in the right spirits. We can portray these things, but the Lord, He sees your heart. He sees your intentions. He sees if you're doing this for likes, if you're doing this for vainglory, if you're doing this to get, sis, all these compliments, or if you're doing it to get praise from the Most? Are you doing it to get praise from men? Are you doing it to get that approval from the Most High? Because at the end of the day, the only approval that's gonna matter at the end of the day is the Most High. When that time comes and the Lord is separating the wheat and the tares, and He's separating the goats from the sheep, that's the only thing that's gonna matter. It's gonna be you and Him. It ain't gonna be you, him, somebody else. What you know, it's gonna be you and him. What works you put in, what you brought to the table. It's gonna be you and him. Okay, so we cannot fool the Most High. We can't. And the times we're living in, I hope we are bringing forth good works, good works of this truth.
Get on place, man.
This Proverbs 31 and 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. So beauty means nothing to the Most High. The daughters of Zion, the sisters in our nation, we're very beautiful people, very, very beautiful, very gorgeous. But that means nothing to Yahweh Shemashah, absolutely nothing. Because if your spirit is not right, then it means nothing. You could be a pretty demon. You could be a very, very pretty demon. You could be very beautiful on the outside, but within, you're full of iniquity. Full of iniquity. Let's get that actually. That's in Matthew's. I think that's in Matthew's 23. Yeah. Matthew's 23, and we'll start at verse 25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter. Well, then they're full of extortion and excess. So you have scribes and Pharisees where the outside of a cup and a platter would be very clean, but within it'd be dirty. Now, is that actually talking about an actual cup? Yeah, maybe sure. But on a spiritual level, on a deeper level, it's talking about how your spirit is within. Because we can look clean on the outside, we can look beautiful, we can dress nice, we can have the nice style, we can sing beautiful, but within, spirit is not right. You're full of hate. You're just full of iniquity. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you like unto white sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. So there we go. Split up on tables. The Most High, He sees everything. So let's just make sure we move in the right spirits in these last days, because we're gonna get judged for it. We'll have to answer for it. It's 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 3. Whose adorning, let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing gold, or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Yahweh of great price. So at the end of the day, your adorning, what matters is not should be how good you look. Of course, we're beautiful women. So I'm not saying it's a sin to take care of ourselves, because it's definitely not. Most High wants us to take care of ourselves. He wants us to look good. We are a royal people. He wants us to take care of our body. He wants you to take care of your skin. That shouldn't be the most important thing. It should be your spirit. How does your spirit look? Is your spirit beautiful? Is your work sincere? Is your heart pure? Are you doing the right thing? Right? So now that we have that, I want to go to Matthew 7. And, like I said, my first fruits is tonight at sundown, Lord willing. And, first fruits of my understanding is when we bring our offerings and our first fruits to the Most High, to offer it to the Most High, right? But on a spiritual level, when you think about fruit, on a spiritual level of first fruits, it makes me think about how we act in this truth. What fruits are you bringing to the table? Because first fruits, you're bringing things to the Most High, right? You're not coming empty-handed. You're bringing your offerings, your first of everything, and you bring it to the Most High. So on a spiritual level, what are you bringing to the Most High? Are you bringing your best? Are you giving your all? Are you moving in the right fruits? Are you moving in the right spirit? Right? So kind. The Most High, He speaks in beautiful ways. It's like sometimes you read something, but then it has a whole other deeper spiritual meaning than you thought. And I know I don't have all the understanding in the world, because some things I read and it don't click for me yet. And even if I do read it, I don't got the deep understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like some things we read, it be surface level understanding. You know what I mean? But our person Most High for understanding either way. How about Shem like how shot Most High, He speaks in a very beautiful very beautiful way. But I want to get Matthew 7, and I'm going to start at verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? So are you gathering grapes or figs? Are you gathering grapes of thorns or fig of thistles? What are you gathering? Are you gathering good fruit or bad fruit? Are you gathering molded strawberries and spoiled blueberries? Or are you gathering the fresh fruit? What are you gathering? What does your spirit look like? What are you bringing to Yahweh Shema Shai? What are you bringing to this truth? What are you bringing to the ministry? Or is this just an online thing for you? You just an Israelite online. You portray to keep the commandments online. You post Bible verses. You make videos. You do all those things. So the scribes and Pharisees did it. They taught the law. They did it. But they didn't keep it. So what are you doing behind closed doors? Are you teaching? Are you making videos and you're doing the works? It seems to be you're doing everything you're supposed to be. But then behind closed doors, there's like shuts off. You kind of rolling the blunt, you kind of twerking with your girl at the club, but nobody sees that. They see the fake you, right? But the Most High, He sees everything. So what are you gathering? You can't be half in, half out. You either gonna give it your all or you ain't. And Yahweh Shah said in Revelation 3:15, this is what the Lord said. We're gonna come back to Matthew. We'll come back to that. I want to get this. It's Revelation 3:15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I will thou wert cold or hot. So the Lord said He'd rather have you cold or hot. There's no in between. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. When Yahweh Shah said He's gonna spew out of your mouth, that means He's gonna take His spirit away. That means you're gonna be back in the world, someplace none of us want to be. Yahweh forbid. The Lord said He'd rather have you be on fire or not. So what are you going to do here? You got to pick and choose. Do you really want the kingdom of heaven? Do you really want this great harvest? Do you really want salvation? But that's the whole point. You're reaping. We're trying to reap in the spirit. We're trying to reap things as well pleasing to the Most High. So like we're trying to sow things that are well pleasing to the Most High. We're trying to sow things of the spirit so we can reap the great harvest. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. We're trying to maintain good works so that we can reap the kingdom of heaven. We're trying to maintain good works in this truth so that our prayers can be answered. That's the whole point. So what type of works are you doing? Are you on fire for the Lord? Or are you not? Are you truly doing what you're supposed to be doing in this walk? So now we're going to go back to Matthew. Every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. And Yahweh Shah said He see men as trees. So we could say so we could think of it as people. Even so, every good person bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt person bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So if you're moving in the spirit and you're doing what's well pleasing to the Most High, that's the type of fruit you're gonna have. But you're gonna be known by your fruits. Trust me. People are gonna see your works. But if you're in this darkness, trust me, it's gonna show in your works. You don't even gotta say nothing. Wherefore by their fruit you shall know them. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? In thy name have cast out devils, and thy name done many wonderful works. And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So we do not want to hear that. I never knew you. Depart from me. We do not want to hear that, Yahweh forbid. So the only way to not hear that, Lord willing, is to strive to do the will of Yahweh, our Father in heaven. It says, not everyone that say unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father. So we have to do the will of Yahweh Shema Shai in sincerity, not out of vainglory. Because they was doing the works. They was prophesying in the Most High name, Yahweh Shema Shai. They was casting out devils. They was doing many wonderful works. But the spirit wasn't right. The heart was not right. It was for show. Behind closed doors, the Israelite was cut off. But you got to be an Israelite when the camera's on and when the camera's off. When nobody's looking and when people are looking. This is not a game. Our life is on the line here. This is not a joke. This is not some video game and we just no, this is real life. We're living in crazy times. All hell could break loose at any time. We don't know when Yahweh Shah is going to return. This is not a joke. This is not something where we can just pick and choose what day we want to keep the commandments what day? No. You either gonna give the Most High everything you got in you, or you're not. You have to really put your brick in for the Lord. Really have to put your brick in for the Lord. And that precept about we being as trees is Mark 8:24. I see men as trees, Mark 8:24. Okay, so um now I want to go to Romans. Now we're gonna kind of just touch on, after in a second we're gonna touch on some ways to maintain those good works in this walk, like how to kind of. But first, in order to maintain good works, you have to stay away from the flesh. So Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. Right? So in order to maintain good works, you got to stay away from the flesh. There's no in between. Darkness and light don't mix, evil and good don't mix. So in order to do things that's pleasing to the Most High, you have to stay away from things that don't please Him, and that's staying away from the cares of this world. You have to be renewed. You have to be a new woman, so that you may prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of Yahweh. And then I want to go to 1 Thessalonians 5. And I think maybe 21. 22. Abstain from all appearance. No, prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. So this truth, these laws, these statutes and commandments, hold that fast. Don't let it go. Abstain from all appearance of evil. So we have to stay away from evil. If we're trying to please the Most High, then you have to stay away from evil. If you're trying to get the kingdom of heaven, if you're trying to get the big harvest, you have to stay away from evil. If you're trying to reap righteousness, then you have to sow righteousness. You have to stay away from evil. There's no in between. The Most High makes it very clear. He makes it very, very clear. You reap what you sow. He that sowed to the flesh shall reap corruption, but he that sowed to the spirit shall reap life everlasting. So if you're sowing in righteousness and you're sowing things that please the Most High, then that is what you are going to reap. If you're really doing the right things in this truth behind closed doors, moving in a sincere spirit, then that's what you're going to reap. Your prayers are going to get answered. Lord willing, we're going to get the kingdom of heaven. Lord willing, if we're doing what's well pleasing and endure to the very end, he that endures to the end, the same shall be saved. Matthew 24:13. But if you're doing things that don't please the Most High, then that's what you're going to reap. So the whole point of this lesson through the Spirit is, to do things that's pleasing to the Most High, to reap, to sow righteous things, to sow this to the Spirit, to sow things that please Yahweh Shemashah, which is the commandments, keeping them in sincerity, so that you may reap that. And that just goes into maintaining good works, staying in those good works, sowing those good works, so that Lord willing, you will get that blessing, so that Lord willing, you'll get that reward, so that Lord willing, you'll get that inheritance. Right. So now I'm gonna go to Titus, because now I want to show some good works. And then I'll be here. This is not really supposed to be an extra long video. How long have I been on here? Yeah, I don't plan it to be maybe another 30 minutes. So this is Titus 2:3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as become of holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. So that is a good work. Not being a drunk woman, that is a good work. Teaching good things, not telling sisters they can eat pork, not telling sisters they can wear booty shorts, not telling sisters they can do what they want to do. Teachers of good things, telling sisters, hey, the Bible says we got to be like that. The Bible says we're supposed to be in submission. The Bible says we're supposed to think before we speak. The Bible says we have to dress modestly. Being that teacher of good things, telling our sisters in the world that don't know better, teaching your young cousins, your young sisters, the things that are good in the eyes of the Lord. What is that? What is good? The commandment. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. That's a good work. Teaching the younger women how to love their husbands, teaching the young women how to love their children. That is a good work. To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of, can you please turn that down? To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. So that is a good work. Being discreet is a good work. Being chaste is a good work. Being keepers of the home is a good work. Obedient to your husband, these are all good works. These are all good works. Since we got to listen.
Titus chapter 2.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
1 But
Whoa,
speak thou the things which become sound doctrine.
so, so I did not plan on that. Okay, discreet. Careful and circumspect in one's speech or actions, especially in order to avoid causing offense or to gain an advantage. Careful, circumspect, cautious. That's what discreet means. And then, so we want to be discreet. We want to be very mindful of how we act. We want to be very careful on how you say things, how you do things, how you move in this truth. Very, very meticulous. Very, very careful. Okay. We want to get the definition of chaste. Abstaining from extramarital or from all sexual intercourse. Not having any sexual nature or intention without unnecessary. Okay, no, I don't want that. But basically, to remain pure, basically, because I know the BLB talks about being pure. Let's get into BLB. The Titus 2 and 5. Chaste, pure from carnality, chaste, modest, pure from every fault, clean, venerable, exciting, reverent. So pure from every fault. So I want to strive to be pure in the eyes of the Lord. I want to strive to be very, very careful on how we carry ourselves in this truth. And that's, how we want to carry ourselves is maintaining good works. Look, see this spirit, verse 7. In all things, showing us a pattern of good works, and doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity. So in all things, we want to show a pattern of good works. All right, so now I'm going to go down to verse number 12. Teaching us, I'm going to start at 11. For the grace of Yahweh that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. So, that's a good work. Living soberly, righteous, and godly, that is a good work. Staying away from the lust of the flesh is a good work. Staying away from being drunk is a good work. Staying away from getting high is a good work. Staying away from the club is a good work. Staying away from fornication is a good work. You know what? Let's go to the fruits of the Spirit. I was supposed to get that. When was I supposed to get that? I was supposed to get the fruits. Oh, I'll skip right over it. Let's go to the fruits of the Spirit and the works of the flesh. It's Galatians, because that's very clear on what's a good work and what's not. I'm going to start at 16. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you should not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So there's no way you're fulfilling the lust of the flesh if you're moving in the Spirit. So we want to move in the Spirit as much as possible, as much as we can. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. So the lust and the flesh, they're doing this. They're fighting. They're throwing them bows, right? They don't mix. Darkness and light don't mix. Evil and good don't mix. You got to pick and choose who you're going to serve. You're going to serve your flesh or you're going to serve your spirit. But if you be led of the Spirit, you're not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. Though these are not good works. Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies. These are not good works. Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in the time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. So none of these are good works. I'm not going to get into the definition of each of these words. Maybe that can be another lesson for another time, Lord willing. But I do have notes in my phone of every definition of these words right here. So Lord willing, I can upload them to the website. That's what I'm going to do. Lord willing, I will just upload the notes to my website. Research every word on your own time and gather some Christmas for your own time. But all of these are not good works. Sleeping around with other men is not a good work. If you're a married woman and you're sleeping with somebody else, that is not good work. Having other people and other things before the Most High is not a good work. Being in witchcraft, that astrology BS and the tarot cards, it's not good works. Being drunk, envying, causing strife, arguing, fighting, these are not good works. And the list goes so on and on. But the fruit of the Spirit, now these are some good works. It's love. So when you're moving in love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, against such there is no law. And they that are Yahweh's have crucified the flesh with affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit, and let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. So we don't want to be moving in vainglory, doing things for show, doing things to get praise from Him. We don't want to move like that. If we say that we're Yahweh Shai, if we say that we're in His truth, if we say that we're servants of Yahweh Shai, we have to crucify the flesh. We got to nail the flesh. We got to punch the flesh, beat the flesh up, and put these things in subjection. Put our mortal body in subjection unto us. All right, so these are some good works. Moving the fruits of the Spirit. So now I'm going to get some examples of ways we can show good works in this truth. Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So this is a good work. Not hating your brother and your sister in your heart. I'm going to start at 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. So not gossiping, not revealing secrets. Those are good works. Loving your people, that is a good work. How do you, love is an action word, right? Love is an action word. So we can say we love someone, but we have to show it. So let's get 1 John 3:18. It says, my little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. So you can say you love somebody, but love is an action word. You show you love somebody by how you treat them, how you act. So love is an action word. So you love your people by showing that, by helping them out when they need it, just love is it's a lot. Giving alms, it's a lot of ways to show love to our people, right? Let's get some accounts of our righteous foremothers and their good works. Acts 9:36. Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This one was full of good works and alms deeds which she did. So Tabitha was full of good works. That's all she had was good works. And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom when they had washed, they laid her in an upper chamber. And forasmuch as Lydda was nigh to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them. Then Peter arose and went with them. And when he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them. So she used her talents for the nation. She made clothes, she made coats, she made garments, and she probably did more because she was full of good works. So that is good work, helping out your nation, using your talents for the ministry, whatever talents you got, making clothes, if that's a talent of yours, that is a good work. Go to Romans 16. I commend you unto Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the church which is at Centria, that ye receive her in the Lord as becometh saints, and that ye assist her in whatsoever business she have need of you. For she hath been a succorer of many, and of myself also. So a succorer means just to help, a helper. So she was a helper. And she must have been a really good help, because he said, hey, whatever she need, you give it to her. You help her in whatever she needs, right? So we know that Phoebe's like she had really good works. She was a helper, and work hard to be helping. So she helped the nation. That is a good work, helping the nation however you can. Use your talents. That's how you can show good works in this truth. Use your talents. Move in the spirit. Show love. I'm going to do Genesis 18 and I'm going to start at verse 3. Verse 2. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground and said, my Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort your hearts. After that you shall pass on. For therefore are you come to your servant. They said, so do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the earth. And Abraham ran unto the herd and fetched a calf tender and good and gave it unto a young man, and he hastened it to dress. So Sarah, she made that bread. He said, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal needed and make cakes upon the earth. So she had good works. She made food for the nation. And although just in this scenario it was the angels, the men of the Lord, but even still, they're part of the nation. She made food, and I'm pretty sure she did a lot of more other righteous works. We don't speak on it, but I'm pretty sure she did because Sarah was a righteous woman. She was a virtuous woman. All praise to the Most High. So, that's how you can show good works. Help out at the feast days. Cook for your family if you're not able to attend the feast days. If you live with your worldly family members, cook for them. Make a big feast on the feast days. Even if it's just by yourself, go all out. Help your nation wherever way you can. She also had good works because she obeyed her husband. If she bucked up against him, it would have said that, but it didn't. So we know she obeyed and did what he said. Right? That's a good work for my wives out there. My sister, the courting, being under subjection and submission. I want to get First Samuel because Abigail kind of did the same thing. She made that food. I'm gonna start at verse 18. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of fig and laid them on asses. So she had shut up. She had good works because she made food for the nation as well. Although this is just a small group of people, David and his men, they still a part of the nation. And she did that because David was ready to slay some. He was ready to turn up, And that the ball kind of rubbed David the wrong way. David wanted to play with him. She was humble enough. She was like, let me go get this food to David. She could have been like, man, tell David to bring it on. I'm going to tell Nabal and Nabal going to get his soldiers ready. We finna go out to war. Obviously not her, but she could have been like, I'm not making enough for that man. Shoot, I'm not making enough for nobody. I'm not making enough for nobody that's not my husband. I'm not doing none of that. She could have been like, I'm not making no food. I'm not making no atonement. Hey, David could do what he want to do. No, she wasn't like that. She made that food. She was in a humble spirit. She did that on behalf of her husband. So David wouldn't come up there with that rah-rah. She just, everything about Abigail I love. She had the right spirit. She definitely did. So that's a good work. Again, making food for the nation, moving in a humble spirit, moving in a loving spirit. That's a good work, because sisters that are married, they still be making meals and stuff for the other brothers for camp and all that, and for the, making food for the congregation for the feast days. So that's a very good work. I'm going to get Luke 2, 36 to 37. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher. She was of great age and had lived with a husband 7 years from her virginity. And she was a widow of about 40 years. So she was 84 years old, which departed not from the temple, but served Yahweh with fasting and prayers night and day. So that's a good work. Praying and fasting to Yahweh Shemashai is a good work. That's a very good work. You could spend your time doing anything else, but you choose to pray and fast and to be in the spirit and to study these words of life. That is a good work. Let me get Exodus 15 and 20. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. It was praising the Most High. It was dancing and singing songs to the Most High. And David tells us to do that all throughout Psalms. So that's a good work. Praising Yahweh Shemashah, making songs to the Lord, singing hymns to the Lord. That is a good work. It's Ephesians 5 and 19. Speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord. And so they was out there singing and making melodies in their heart to Yahweh Shemashah. That is a good work. Just going through some examples, kind of trying to get right to the point. Ephesians 4 and 32. 31. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yahweh for Yahweh's sake have forgiven you. So those are good works. Being kind to your brothers and sisters, helping them, being gentle, being tender, being soft, being forgiving, not being in anger, not being in wrath, not evil speaking. That is a good work. Those are good works. James 5 and 16. Confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So praying for one another, bearing one another burdens, that is a good work. Being there for your sister. Fasting with your sister, fasting for her, praying for your sister, or praying over her. Fasting for the nation, praying for the nation. That is a good work. And also comforting one another. This goes into comforting one another because when you bear one another burden, you're being comforting to that sister. Let me go to this one because this is the 1611, the standard. So let's get 2nd Ezra 14 and 13. And it reads, now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble and now renounce corruption. So comforting your sisters that are going through it, comforting your husband when he's in trouble, when he's going through it, that is a good work. Being somebody they can lean on, being somebody that they can talk to, they can seek counsel from. Proverbs 13 and 10. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the will of us is wisdom. So not being prideful is a good work. Putting the pride aside to avoid arguments is a good work. Okay. It's Colossians 3 and 9. Lie not one to another. I'm sorry, 8. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. So when you do those things, that is a good work. When you put filthy communication out of your mouth, when you put away anger and wrath, that's a good work. Lie not one to another, saying that you have put off the old man with his deeds. So that is a good work. Putting off that old woman is a good work. And let me get this. Proverbs 12 and 22. Because lying is an abomination to the Lord. Proverbs 12 and 22. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. So we want to deal truly in the eyes of Yahweh Shemashah, deal sincerely. And now I want to bring out one of our foremothers that was not in the righteous spirit. So like it. This is Acts chapter 5 and verse 1. But a certain man named Ananias was severe his wife sold a possession and kept back part of the price, his wife also being privy to it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. And Peter said, Ananias, why have Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost, and to keep back part of the price of the land? Whilst it remained, was it not thine own? And after it was sold, was it not in thine own power? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart? Thou hast not lied unto men, but unto Yahweh. And Ananias, hearing those words, fell down and gave up the ghost, and great fear came on all them that heard these things. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after, when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. So she knew her husband was dead. Peter was in the spirit. The Lord had put that spirit on Peter to already know what was up. And Peter answered unto her, tell me whether you sold the land for so much. She said, yeah, for so much. Then Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then she fell down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young man came in, and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. So the Lord don't take this as a joke. The Most High has been very merciful, but they got to put the devil on the spot. The Most High judged them immediately, and the Most High can do us like that. And all sin is sin in the eyes of the Lord, no matter if it's lying, adultery, killing, it's all the same in the eyes of the Lord. Sin is sin. So when we go off, we want to repent immediately. We want to repent sincerely and try our best to stay away from him. Of course, adjustment falls. We're going to go off. We're going to fall. We want to strive to be as blameless as possible. That's the whole point. Most High has mercy, has mercy on. And I want to read about Jezebel real quick. Because while I'm talking about maintaining good works, I want to show y'all foremothers that didn't. Just one more example of someone that didn't. Okay, it's 1 Kings chapter 21. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite and had a vineyard which is in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in my money. And Naboth said to Ahab, the Lord forbid me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. So Naboth is trying to no, Jezebel's husband, he's trying to get Naboth's inheritance. Naboth like, boy, you crazy. I'm not giving you my father's inheritance. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give thee an inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. But Jezebel his wife came to him and said unto him, Why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto her, Because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread. Let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So who is she talking about? I'll give it to you. Who is she? Who are we to be like, I'm going to do? No, it's all over the Lord. The Lord didn't want him having that. But she took it upon her own hands to think she could play God. And that's why she got judged. So she wrote letters in his name and sealed them with his seal and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letter saying, Proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, Thou didst blaspheme Yahweh and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were the inhabitants of this in his city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them, and as it was written in the letters which she had sent unto them. So she writing letters. First of all, all types of madness. She's committed so many sins. So she being deceitful. She writing letters in her husband's name. That's dishonesty and deceit. And she's telling people to kill a brother that they did no wrong. And it says sons of Belial. So these men were off. They were wicked men because if they truly feared God, Yahweh Shem like Havashai, they would have been like, you crazy woman, I'm not doing that. So those men went wrong. But not only them, Jezebel, she got brothers going off. She's being a stumbling block. And of course, that's utter madness. I don't know. That's utter madness, but utter madness. They proclaimed a fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And there came in 2 men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme Yahweh and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones, that he died. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. And it came to pass, when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thee for money, for Naboth is not alive but dead. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. And I'm going to skip down, verse 21. Behold, I will bring evil upon thee and will take away thy prosperity. No, that's not what I wanted. No. Oh, no. That's what I wanted, verse 25. But there was none like unto Ahab. Hold on. Let me start at 23. And of Jezebel also spake the Lord, saying, The dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. So she ended up, it prophesied she was going to get judged and ate by dogs. She was so wicked. Him that doth Ahab in the city, the dog shall eat, and him that doth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. But she's, of course, first of all, our men are supposed to be leading us in righteousness, and our women, us women, we're supposed to be helpmates to our husband, encouraging them to keep these commandments of the Most High. She did not do that. She had a hand in his wickedness. She stirred him up in wickedness. She didn't stir him up in righteousness. She didn't be like, oh, babe, well, that's somebody else's thing. You can't covet that. You can't be moving to covetousness, babe. No, she was like, oh, okay, let me go get it. Let me go work this deceitfulness. Let me go get this brother killed. That's off. She stirred his wickedness up. So that is not a good work. That we can learn a lot from Jezebel. But that's pretty much all I had. I'm gonna end it off with this. Genesis 18 and no, where's the part where? Hold on. Oh, that's verse 26. Okay, this is Genesis 19 and 17, just getting right to the point. I'm gonna start at 16. So, if y'all know the story of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah, go read it. But basically, the Lord said, "Don't look back. I'm gonna destroy this place. Don't look back." I'm gonna start at verse 15. This whole story is very beautiful. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, "Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city." And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. So he was lingering. So they kind of had to jack him up. They kind of had to, come on, get up out of here. And it came to pass when they had brought him them forth abroad that he said, "Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither down the plain, and all the plain escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed." What'd she do? But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. They just told y'all not to look back, and what she do? So that's not a good work. She was disobedient, and not only that, I brought that out to say that she looked back because she was missing that life. That's why she looked back, because she wanted that life back. So I'm bringing it out to say, to close this lesson, we don't want to be like that. We don't want to love this flesh. We don't want to, because the examples I just brought out with Jezebel and Ananias' wife Sapphira, they love the flesh. They love the world, or else they wouldn't have been moving in those spirits. So I brought that out to say we don't want to be like Lot. Right? We'd rather live in the world and love the world than do things that's pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. Because we don't want to be like Lot's wife. Remember Lot's wife? Luke 17 and 32. Remember Lot's wife. So plain. She was looking back, and that's why the Lord said in Luke 9 and 62, right here, that's why he said this. And Yahweh said unto him, "No man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh." So once you come into this truth and you want to keep these commandments, you cannot look back. Because if you do, you're not fit for the kingdom. And she looked back and she wasn't fit. And that's why she got turned to salt. So we don't want to be moving in the spirit of missing this world. And that's why we rather serve our flesh instead of having good works in this truth. So I got two closing precepts. This is Titus 3 and verse 3. 2, to speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but gentle, showing all meekness to all men. So those are good works. For we ourselves also are sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another. But after that, the kindness and love of Yahweh our Savior toward man appeared, not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy he saved us by the washing of regeneration and renewing of the Holy Ghost, which he shed on us abundantly through Yahweh HaMashiach our Savior. So we used to be in the flesh. We used to do things that was not pleasing. We used to not have good works, but the Most High is so merciful that he brought us to this truth, and not by any righteous works we did, and also as Ephesians 2 and 8 say, I believe, but because of his mercy, right? So we want to strive to continue to do pleasing things that's pleasing to the eyes of the Lord. Lot's wife got left behind because she looked back, right? She wanted to serve her flesh. She wanted to be in the world. She wanted that lifestyle, and we can't be like that. Not the right one. I want it. So we want to maintain good works. We want to love having good works in this truth, so that we may get the kingdom of heaven, so that we may get the big harvest. And in honor of my first fruits tonight at sundown on a spiritual level, that's what it's all about. Having good fruits. What are you bringing to the table? What are you truly doing behind closed doors? What type of spirit are you moving in? Are you loving the lust of this flesh and the cares of this world? Or are you doing what's pleasing in the eyes of the Lord? We'll close it out with this and one more. Titus 3:14, and let us also learn to maintain good works for necessary uses, that they be not unfruitful. So we want to maintain good works that we don't be unfruitful. And then, although this is talking about, men keeping the feast days, this is a very powerful precept. Deuteronomy 16 and 16, 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. So, that's the whole point. We don't want to appear unto Shalom Bay, I love you too. We don't want to appear unto the Most High empty-handed. We want to give the Most High Yahweh Shema our all. We don't want to be in His truth kind of half in it, giving half a essence in it. You want to give the Most High your all. The Most High to us, the least we could do is give the Most High our all. Because at the end of the day, um, when the day come, when it's time to get separated, the goats to the sheep, and it's time to get separated, the wheat and the tares, it's gonna be what did you bring to the table? Because everybody that say Lord, everybody that do the works ain't gonna get the kingdom. It's about your spirit. Are you moving in the right spirit? Are you truly doing this thing for the right reasons? Are you doing it for vain? Are you doing it for fame? Are you doing it for likes and comments and subscribes and money? The Most High He sees it all. So we can fool men, but we cannot fool you. How about Shema Shah? So all praise to the Most High for those that are keeping first fruits at sundown. Lord, and have a beautiful first fruits. And Lord, when we can just examine the type of spirit that we're moving in and examine how are we moving in this truth? What are we bringing to the table? How are we going hard for the Lord? And I'm going to go back to reaping what you sow because I just think it's so beautiful. I'm going to just get on my phone. But this is Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked, for whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the spirit shall the spirit reap life everlasting. Let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So whatever you're putting out, that's what you're going to get in return. If you're sowing in righteousness, then you're going to get that reward. If you're sowing in wickedness, if you're sowing of the flesh, you're going to reap corruption, but of the spirit, you're going to reap life everlasting. At the end of the day, we want the great big harvest. So the precepts I brought out, meditate upon them. We want the great big harvest, and we get the great big harvest by keeping these commandments. That's how we get it, Lord willing, and moving in sincerity, moving in the right spirit. This is Matthew chapter 19 and verse 26. No, that's the wrong one. Matthew 19 and 16. Yeah. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? Ugh. He said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is Yahweh. If thou will enter to life, keep the commandments. So we want this great big harvest. We got to keep the commandments. We got to be in sincere spirit. So at the end of the day, reap what you reap what you sow. Do the right thing, maintain good works in this truth, move in ways that are pleasing to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Shah. Bring good fruits to the table, bring righteous fruits to the table, bring righteous works to the table, and that's what you'll reap, Lord willing. So we want this great big harvest. You got to put the work in sincerity. If you want your prayers answered, if you want the blessings in this lifetime, and you got to put the right works in. So Lord willing, is edifying. Lord willing, y'all have a good rest of y'all evening. I know the Sabbath is about over for most of us. So Lord, you have a good rest of y'all Sabbath if it's not over yet. Lord, you have a because once it's sundown here, it's technically Sunday. So Lord, you have a good start of the week, good feast, good everything. Keep enduring. I love y'all. Shalom. Call it. How about